Now, I'd like to introduce our next speaker, which is Dr. Ramakumar, who's a CTO and AVP of AM Green. He's also a member of the management committee of AM Green. He's been a director on the board of Indian Oil and has been instrumental in the development of India's homegrown fuels and refinery processes. He's, of course, a very strong part of the Indian Federation of Green Energy, especially the SAF initiative, and features on a minorities national expert committee. He's been responsible for over 150 research publications and a sizable number of granted patents. He serves on the boards of multiple companies, including LanzaTech, Central Pollution Control Board for India, um, uh, Indoil Montany, etc. I will now hand over the floor to Mr. Ramkumar. Thank you so much for taking out the time, Doctor. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Isha, and I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible and your screen is visible. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the participants uh, for this GBA seminar on SAF. And theme of my presentation is technology landscape for SAF, the Indian radar. Uh, uh, just just a very brief introduction about the company to which I currently affiliated to. It is known as AM Green. AM Green and Greenco are the two group companies promoted by the same promoter. Uh, in fact, Greenco is one of the largest renewable energy company of India, which produces one of the most cost-efficient green electron. AM Green is a recently launched molecule company which exclusively deals with green molecules. So the advantage that our group company gives on renewable energy with the cost of renewable energy, delivered cost of renewable energy equipped with one of the unique solutions of storage, pump hydro storage project. In fact, we are the owners, asset owners of one of the largest privately owned pump storage project, which has just become operational last month with 1 point with around 17 gigawatts of the capacity. This is the largest. And by virtue of this particular PSP storage capacity, the delivered cost of the green electricity round the clock by our company is one of the lowest in the world. So, backed by such an advantage of very cost efficient green electron, we are now embarking upon to deal with many of these electrons into molecules, whether it is green hydrogen, green ammonia, uh, green chemicals, methanol, SAF, SAF. We intend to be a key player in the SAF domain, not only for India, but for the entire Southeast Asia, and we have export ambitions to Europe. So this is that PSP project in the southern part of the country, which has just gone critical. This is having two greenfield upper reservoir and lower reservoir. It's such a huge water battery uh, wherein the excessive power will be stored by pumping the water in the from the ground reservoir to the upper reservoir. And when in the night time, when the renewable electricity is not there, you pump back the upper reservoir water to the lower reservoir water. This operation is facilitated by reversible pumps, which act in one direction as pump, in the other direction as the turbine. They're gigantic turbines supporting that capacity. So that's about my company. So the theme of today's topic is that what Indian players, prospective players, whether government players or private players, who seek to set up production units and turn to be SAF producers on global scale, what they are looking for. Before I do that in the next 15, 18 odd minutes, let me set the context. India is going to be ethanol surplus. Even after blending 20% of ethanol in gasoline, our ethanol blending program in gasoline is one of the national success stories, wherein in the last 10 years, from a meager 5 to 7% to 20%, we could able to raise the blending percentage of ethanol, but predominantly the ethanol is a first generation ethanol in the country that is being produced today. So, 2 years back, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas constituted a committee to recommend which are the pathways suitable for India and what kind of blending percentages that India should look for come 2027. So, this committee was constituted and convened by me as the then Director R&D of Indian Oil, and our recommendation was the most suitable pathway is alcohol to jet because alcohol is going to be surplus in India, and we have recommended certain percentages. Since they are not officially mandated, I'm not really giving the numbers to you, but it varies anywhere between 10% by 2030. So, however, the since alcohol to jet technology is not commercially proven as yet anywhere in the world, the first semi-commercial pilot plant, which has the mechanical completion has been done, was in US in Georgia by LanzaZ, a group company of LanzaTech, and it is about to be operational, but still not operational. So many Indian players, in the absence of a commercially proven unit of ATJ, they are resorting to IFA and UCO processing, and large refiners of the country. Most of them are majority of them are in government fold, government of India owned refineries. So they all are resorting to co-processing of HIFA and UCO to meet that initial targets, blending targets, which may kick off from 2027. And India sees that FTSPK, Fischer-Tropsch SPK, would be a long-term GTL option because technology maturity is still not there. This is in spite of the fact that there are certain recent ESAF mandates in EU from 2030 onwards. So this is the context. In this context, what are the technologies that specific technologies that India is looking for? Various players. My own company is also looking for some of these technologies. I would like to put a disclaimer before I start these slides that whatever global multinational licensors, process licenses of these technologies, I have extensively used the information of these respective licensors, which is openly available in the public domain. So that is the disclaimer that I want to say. So the first generic pathway is sugars to ethanol and ethanol to SAF. So whatever sugars that you have for the time being, you just forget this biomass part. But in whatever way you get the sugars, these sugars should be after fermentation you get the ethanol, and ethanol can be a monolithic ethanol production at one large plant, or there are a lot of sugar distilleries in the country. So it can be in a decentralized form. The ethanol can be produced and then ethanol can be subjected to a two-step process of ethanol dehydration, followed by oligomerization of the resultant ethylene that is going to be produced. So it is dehydration, oligomerization, followed by hydrogenation and fractionation. That is the generic pathway. And these many players are there: EOP, Axon, LanzaJet, Lummus, and GU. So I'll discuss a few of them, the salient features of some of these players. LanzaTech is one of the front runners who is pursuing ATJ. Their technology and pathway is ASTM approved, and they have announced quite a number of projects on ATJ throughout the world, including in India. In India also, one of the largest government oil company, Indian Oil Corporation, has already announced 86.6 thousand metric ton per annum plant to be set up on based on this particular technology. And my own company, AIM Green, also has already developed a detailed feasibility report based on this technology. So if you see the overall carbon intensity of these pathways, we have done a scenario study, and the depending on what kind of power that we are using and what kind of hydrogen that we are using, uh, and what is the source of alcohol that you are using as a feedstock, the carbon intensity can be as low as 16.29 grams per CO2 equivalent per megajoule of ATJ-SPK. So 82%, a whopping 82% emission reduction potential can be obtained if we use renewable energy and green hydrogen for this. So there is another potential technology pathway, UOP. UOP is also having a ETJ technology, ethanol dehydration oligomerization, and the generic route. Likewise, Lummus is another dominant global licensor who are also announced that they are ready with the ETJ part. Their claim is that they don't have an integrated plant of SAF, but they have very well proven ethanol to ethylene dehydration technology. They have a 10 years of commercial operating experience, and at least a couple of units are operating continuously for the last 10 years. Likewise, their pathway goes from ethylene. After the production of ethylene, it can go first to dimerization, and from dimerization to oligomerization, followed by the conventional steps of hydrogenation. So Lamas also claims that they have 37 years of experience in oligomerization, converting lower olefins into higher olefins and SAF like C8 kind of products. So their claim is that the individual sub processes of ATJ, which they are claiming they're more than amply commercially proven, and just process integration is a regular job for Lamas. So that's their claim. And they have not spelled out what is going to be their carbon intensity, but I think they can also go for a lower carbon intensity of the resultant SAF, provided if green hydrogen and renewable energy is there. The second pathway, up till now, I talked about ethanol to jet. Now there is a methanol to jet, and methanol is more fungible product, and methanol can be produced from several pathways. So one of the most promising pathway of producing methanol is using the biogenic CO2. A lot of biomethanation plants to produce compressed biogas from agri residues, and all these plants emit CO2, and this CO2 is a biogenic CO2 with when it is utilized and upgraded to higher products, then it may lead to negative footprint for that particular part. So UOP, KBR, and Axens, all three of these global licensors, they have technologies to upgrade the methanol, green methanol into SAF. So UOP says that they have commercially proven pathway for methanol because they have recently acquired Johnson Matthey, the key catalyst manufacturer, and catalyst is the heart of producing methanol from CO2, whether it is biogenic CO2 or fossil CO2. So they have a lot of commercially proven catalyst. That's their claim. Then methanol can also be produced in a decentralized way, hub and spoke option. So economies of scale can be easily achieved, and more so, the project developer will have flexibility of individually valorizing each of these products. Like methanol can be valorized separately. Olefin, if they want to stop at olefin, they can valorize the olefin, and if they want to go all the way to jet, then from methanol to jet, they can also proceed. So there is a lot of financial flexibility also. That is their claim. KBR also says that they can also include, besides agri biomasses, they can also include a lot of waste material like municipal solid waste and biogas. And through gasification, they can produce the syngas, and from syngas, their trademark technology is pure SAF, and from there they can produce the SAF. So the third generic pathway for producing the SAF, as India is looking, is the co-processing route, where you can use used cooking oil or vegetable oil. You can degum it, you can demetal it, and you can bleach it, and then you can subject it to the existing hydroprocessing units of the operating refineries. So this is the fastest way of producing SAF without incurring any extra capex, and you can enter into the market. But the limitation is that you can blend only 5 to 20% as per the ASTM stipulation. But India is even 5% blending from 2027 to 2030 is really going to take care of the Indian aviation emission footprint. So co-processing is a very, very potential pathway of producing SAF in India. And Haldat also is having very potential catalysts for enabling this co-processing pathway production of SAF through these kind of feedstocks. I want to specifically talk about one Indian indigenously developed technology. This is by National Institute called Indian Institute of Petroleum. This is a CSIR institute, and they have developed a single pot process of using HEFA or HEFA kind of feedstocks, but it is only one shot process wherein all the chemical steps of deoxygenation, isomerization, selective cracking, all these things will happen with one proprietary catalyst in one single reactor, and they will get biojet fuel with C9 to C15 and diesel range. And they claim that one of the USPs of this technology pathway is that it is highly aromatic rich SAF, so that you don't need to require to add additional aromatics to meet the ASTM specifications, which is mandatory in low aromatic or non-aromatic SAFs that other ATJ pathways are produces. One of the last slides that I would like to take is a very, very interesting technology pathway. This is a US startup owned by an Indian scientist by the startup company called Visolis. It is, by the way, the IIP pathway is in advanced stage of phase TM approval, whereas Visolis technology is they just embarked upon ASTM approval. So in this technology, they have a biofermentation as the first step of various sugars or sugar-based starches, and the intermediary product that they produce by the microorganism, the curated microorganism that they are using for fermentation, the so-called yeast, is MVL. They have a patented intermediate called mevalonic lactone, that is MVL. And from this MVL, through catalytic upgradation, they can produce highly aromatic rich SAF. In fact, they can produce 100% aromatic SAF. or they can control the, as per their claim, they can control the degree of aromatization in their final product. So this seems to be interesting and different from rest of the pathways, but how this would be scaled up and how fast they can get the ASTM approval, that is moot point. So as far as India is concerned, many producers are looking, both the government companies and in private sector, they are looking all sorts of technologies from the global technology players, and I have not included all the technologies for paucity of time, but I have just introduced you to the pathways which are potentially likely for adoption by one or the other player in the country. So to sum up my presentation, Indian SAF technology landscape, all leading ATJ and co-processing pathways are in the reckoning. In the short term, much the same way as that of global trends, initially we might go for a co-processing process of HIFA, but I think in the long run, in the medium term also, by 2030, I think we will resort to ATJ as one of our major production pathway. Methanol to jet is also coming to the fore. Ethanol to jet is a front runner, I told you. Major refiners are actually going for co-processing. FTSPK, we feel that as far as unless the gasification step is properly matured and scaled up, FTSPK is going to be little far away option. Indian Institute of Petroleum's indigenous single pot technology to convert HIFA into aromatic rich SAF and another interesting technology are also on the radar. I think I'll stop my presentation here, and thanks GBA and Ministry of Petroleum, Natural Gas, Government of India for giving me this opportunity.